Wizayamana Angelique. I like getting people's names correctly. Hello, I really like using soy milk and I've heard some bad news about it. What are your thoughts on soy milk and what is the best non-dusty milk to use? First of all, make sure that it has what it claims to have in there, right? EWG, Environmental Working Group. There are websites you can go to find what is nonsense or not. This is the kind of thing that you guys can do as well. So I opened a new tab and I typed EWG soy milk. It's like Consumer Reports. It's a not-for-profit. You can actually trust them. They're not taking ads or any of that nonsense. They give some ratings to these things to show you which one is bad or not. So here are brands that they're recommending. Let's see if they have any not so good ones. As you see, the higher the number, the crappier the milk. So the crappiest one is this. I've never even heard of this brand. And organic doesn't always mean good, because sometimes you have some brands that are organic, but their quality is crappy. So apparently this one is pretty good. When I was fat and trying to transform, I started reading the labels. You really have to pick up the label. And when you look at the back and you see things you can't pronounce, you have no clue what it is, just Google it. You'll be shocked at how much bad stuff is in food, your deodorant, your lipstick, whatever, right? Just Google these things. Then look at how much calories are there, how much carbs, how much fat, how much sugar, things like that nature. Don't just pick something up. We're used to just grabbing stuff and, put it in the cart and moving on and whatever. But try to actually start to read the labels. And just do simple Google searches like what I just did to try to figure out what's going on with these things. So that was a great question by Angelique Wizayamana. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Welcome. How do you pronounce your name?
Actually did not do too bad. It's
okay. Wizayamana. Okay, thanks. Welcome to the show.
So I was on a plant-based for 4 years, then COVID happened, and then I just ate whatever, and then I was like always between like 115 and 125, and then boom, I spiked all the way to 145.
Okay.
150. I'm trying to go back on a plant-based, and it seems like it's harder, even though I did it for like 4 years straight. What are your thoughts on a plant-based diet?
So the vegan diet can work, especially when you're going from something that was bad to vegan. One thing you got to be careful of is that you're getting all your nutrients. Sometimes people are vegan or vegetarian, they can be vitamin B12 deficient, or it can be copper toxic, and a lot of times people don't like taking their multivitamins. So you got to make sure that you're getting all your nutrients, because the human body is so complicated, right? If something is just out of whack, it may be hard for you to do what you did in the past, which was definitely be at a pretty healthy weight from what you said you used to be. Then I'm not sure, how active are you now, and do you know how many calories you're eating per day roughly by any chance?
I was on the app,
My Fitness Pal?
Yeah, I was on there and I was like logging in everything.
Okay, that's great. No, that's great.
But I got paranoid. Paranoid with the app, and I was frustrated that every morning I had to screenshot everything I was doing, and I was like, I'm not doing this no more.
Okay.
I'm just gonna estimate how much I'm eating. If I have to estimate, I probably eat like around 1,700 calories a day.
Okay, gotcha. And how active would you say that you are?
So I started to be active again about 3 months ago, and I go to gym Monday through Friday. I don't go to the gym on the weekends. I feel like
you're pretty active. Yeah, so you're pretty active.
I'm pretty active, but it seems harder to lose weight, and I know I lost weight. But when I step on the scale, it says I gained 10 pounds, but I know in my jean size, I did lose weight. Just that, that whole weight thing. It just doesn't feel right, because I want to see that number be down.
Right. So the scale can be both a blessing and a curse. So for example, if your clothing is looser and the scale went up and you're working out, then you most likely gain some muscle and you burn fat. So like when I transformed, I lost 40 pounds of fat and I gained 30 pounds of. The scale only moved 10 pounds, but I look drastically different, right? If your scale isn't moving, but your clothes are fitting better, and you can tell looking in the mirror, or people who know you say, oh, you look better, you're slimmer or whatever, then the scale is just lying at that point, right? Because the scale can only tell you your weight, which is comprised of the fat and the muscle and your bones and whatever, right? So you could very well be actually have lost some fat, gained some muscle, and the scale not really move. That is definitely possible. But the fact that you're eating a good amount and working out, again, back to the nutrient stuff, because I know for sure, while vegan can be very good, people who go vegan have to be very careful to make sure that they get all their minerals, vitamins, etc.
I guess it's just it's like almost a mind trick. You've done something for so long that when you lose track of it, you're like, I already know. Like it's, I don't know, it's like something that's subconscious within you when you fall off the wagon. It's almost like entitlement in your mindset that you
Yeah.
already know, but
Yeah.
it feels like I'm starting all over again, even though I've done it
Gotcha.
for 4 years. And
Okay.
it just doesn't feel fair, you know?
Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, you follow for a while and yeah, you backslide, so to speak. So perhaps maybe you just haven't given yourself enough time, because you said you weigh like 140, 150. I mean, and you were at 125 before, so you're way better than the typical person, to be honest. Maybe you're being just a bit hard on yourself, and you'll probably get back to your 125 level relatively quickly. How long did it take you to put on the weight, and how long have you been trying to lose the weight?
I think I put on like 40 pounds over like the 2-year period when COVID. So I guess I put on like 20 pounds a year, and then 20, and then I stepped on the scale. I was like, nah, we can't go on this. The way I gain weight, it's like throughout my whole body. Even though people can still compliment you, or you still, look great in clothes.
Right.
You know that following that pattern, because if the numbers keep going up, it will get to a point where you're like, oh no, now I really need to work out.
Yes, and then it's gonna be much more harder. So you're doing the right thing by trying to nip it in the bud now.
Exactly. And my fear is like gaining so much weight to a point where I lose weight and then I have like excess skin. That's like what really is like getting me to go in the gym. I want to lose the weight before my skin is so saggy after I lose like so much weight.
Yeah, you'd have to be significantly heavier than you are now to have the excess skin problem. I mean, don't use that as an excuse to get bigger, but I'm just saying you don't have to worry about when you shrink, you're gonna have excess skin, because especially when you're doing it the right way, right? So it took you 2 years to put on 40 pounds. You can lose that in a year or 2 years, but as you shrink 1 to 2 pounds a week, your skin will still has elasticity, right? It will tighten back up. Now, if you lose this 40 pounds in 2 months, then you might have a little loose skin, because that's not normal. It didn't take you 2 months to gain 40 pounds. I know what you're saying is unfair. I fully get you. I know when I was losing, I was like, man, this is taking forever. I remember distinctly, lost a bunch of weight. People after like, man, you look great. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still fat. They're like, no, you're not. I'm like, yes, the machine said I'm fat. Trust me, I'm still fat. Yeah, I lost a lot. I moved from the obese category to the fat category.
This is the first time I actually heard of it as of yesterday. I heard about the cabbage soup diet. It's this diet where you eat as much as cabbage soup as you want and you lose like 10 pounds in a week. Actually, I started that today, but from watching you, now I'm not gonna do that.
Yes, please don't.
I just want to say I'm glad I stumbled upon you, because I was like planning going like, day by day.
Because what's gonna happen is this. Basically, it's a starvation diet. So you will really lose weight, but a lot of that's gonna be water weight. And eventually you're gonna have to eat food again. You're gonna stop eating the cabbage, and the 10 pounds you lost is just gonna come back up, right? The worst thing that could happen is when some of the weight you lose is muscle. So let's say you lost 10 pounds, right? Let's pretend that 2 pounds is muscle. When you gain back the 10 pounds, it's all fat. It's gonna be harder. This difficulty you're running into now to lose. The next time, if you lost muscle, it's gonna be even more harder. It's a vicious cycle. When you lose muscle, your metabolism is gonna slow down, and it's gonna be harder for you to burn fat. Muscle is beautiful. It helps with so many things. So cabbage diet is a starvation. All these things are gimmicks. Some of these things are so shameful. You'll see a YouTube channel, maybe you saw it on YouTube, where you'll see some lady with a before and after on a cabbage diet or some of that. She will show the before and after, and she looks fabulous. Then 3-6 months later, she's on to the next diet, and she shows the same before and after picture. And I'm like, what is this? She lost 30 pounds, then she put it on to lose it again, to put it on. Some of these things are very gimmicky. They're just using it to get views or to sell some product. It's very shady, in my opinion.
Like you're saying, I saw the before and after, and I was like, yeah, that's it. But it's just like the thought of losing 10 pounds that quick was like, okay, I guess I'll do this too.
So again, let me show you guys what I do, right? This is an easy little trick to do for all these things. I'm going to share my screen again and show you something. I typed cabbage diet bad, right? Because what I want to find out is, I could type good and find all sorts of success stories. But what I want to find out is there anything bad about it, right? First thing, low carb and calorie may cause big changes in blood sugar levels. This is not good. It says not likely to have dangerous side effects for most healthy people as long as it's only used for 1 week as intended. Not suitable. So you do this thing for 1 week and you lose weight. Again, it's not probably going to be sustainable. I shouldn't say probably, it will not be sustainable, right? So this weight is going to pop back on. You'll suffer from weakness, fatigue, and dizziness, meaning you won't be able to exercise properly for the week. So you see what just one Google search is already bringing all these bad things up? right? This is the kind of stuff that I do when I hear new things, right? I just go do some research, right? But on the face of it, the general rule of thumb is if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
And I meal prep now, and that usually takes me a long time.
Do you meal prep on the one day, like the weekends, or do you meal prep during the week? The reason I ask is when I started meal prepping, I used to try to do it regularly, then I realized that didn't make sense. So I did it on the weekend, then I was taking too long because I was making every little packet. So fastest way I found to meal prep is to do it one day, but put it in big containers thing. And then when I'm going to eat, I take food out of the container and plate it, basically. You know, before when you were 125, if you were sleeping bad, that's not good, but you were 125. Now, if you're trying to go down in weight and you're not sleeping good, now that's going to be very difficult. So what's your sleep like right now?
Oh, horrible.
Aha. Okay.
I used to get like 12 hours of sleep, and now the most I get is probably 5. But I also have a daughter. I don't want to use it as an excuse to not get back in shape. That's never gonna get you far.
No, it's not.
I do have a set schedule for her to sleep. Like she's
okay.
Sleeping. I should be sleeping, you know.
Okay.
But then I find myself having to like put the laundry away.
Yeah.
You know, the dishes.
So here's one thing you could try. Naps. Naps are incredibly powerful. I mean, even just 30 minutes, they're scientifically proven to help so much. So let's say you get your 5 hours of sleep and you found sometime in the day, evening, whatever, when your daughter's sleeping to take 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That makes a difference. You know, it gives your body a chance to recuperate. It's hard to lose fat if you're not sleeping correctly. It's very hard because I wasn't aware of this consciously until I read this. Have you ever gotten bad sleep? Well, it sounds like you didn't know. And the next day you have sugar cravings, hunger hormone. It goes crazy and it makes you want carbs, sugary things. So that can be another thing that's going on.
I take like the chick powder, the plant-based chick powder. I take 2 scoops of that in a day and a night. Is like 18 protein, and I have 18 protein in the night.
I would double that.
Okay, double. Okay.
Double that, yeah, to get to 36 per serving size, let's say. A general rule of thumb, you'd want to be shooting like a gram per pound of body weight. Now, you don't want to get there overnight. So back to tracking, this is why the tracking is important. So when you start putting this stuff in MyFitnessPal, again, or whatever software you use, right? Let's pretend you're eating 100 grams. Don't just immediately go from the 100 to the 150. Increase it slowly. So perhaps with your protein shake, you want to maybe just double one of them or increase it by 50% and then just slowly increase it, so to speak. So protein will help you with energy. So it's like a win-win. Help keep you satiated, give you energy, help with the muscle building and the fat burning. It's going to help with everything you're trying to accomplish.
I just want to say I'm kind of weird. So my protein, I just put in the water and then I have my delicious fruit smoothie.
Yeah.
With my soy milk.
But that's not weird mixing with water. I mix with water. The fittest people I know or I see, their protein shake is just with water. They're not trying to add extra calories. They just want the protein. You know, like my protein has, it's either, I take one whey that has like no carbs, like 2 grams of fat or something. And then the other one has a couple grams of sugar. A really good protein is just powder, is just protein. You don't want a ton of other crap, right? So be careful with the smoothies. When you say you put your milk and some fruit, just make sure you're not getting a ton of sugar in there. Just read the label to see how much you're getting. And again, track it. Just put it in MyFitnessPal. I know you got tired of the tracking. If you're trying to drive from point A to point B, you have no speedometer, no GPS, no gas gauge. It's unlikely you're gonna get there. You don't know where you're going. You can't measure. Whereas if you have a number, you have something. The same way you go on the scale and it gives you a number and you can track, right? You want that number with the food to say, hey, oh, I ate too much, or oh, I didn't eat enough.
One more thing. Juicer. So I've been making like detox juicer, and you just mentioned sugar. I normally use like beets and like carrots, but I put apple in all my juicer cleanser because it just makes it sweeter. I guess, are there any limit to how much fruity I can put in my juicer?
Not really. I mean, the ones you just mentioned are like terribly sugary. One suggestion I can say is try to eat some of those fruits. Like one of the tips I gave, eating an apple before a meal, right? This is a similar strategy of eating your veggies first. It helps fill you up. Like, look at it this way. You can drink several apples, but you can't eat several apples, you know? So again, if you're mixing it up with your one apple, that's great. Also, just try eating the apple, then make your smoothie, because again, it's gonna fill you up.
I'm doing the detox drink because I want my skin to glow, especially in the summertime. Am I misinformed on what actually makes your skin glow? well, or should I focus on eating the fruits as a whole rather than like, oh, drinking this is what it's really gonna enhance my glow.
Most detox things are similar to most of these diets are just nonsense. You know, I'd have to research the specific one, but one thing that's great for detoxing, helping your skin is going to a sauna. You know, does your gym have a sauna?
I actually was in the sauna when you went alive, and I was like, I'll just join when I'm done.
Yeah, the sauna is great. You know, it's like getting a facial for your body, right? Because the number one way you excrete toxins is through your sweat. Keep doing the sauna. Do the sauna a couple times a week. You know, and it's great to do post-workout because your body's already heated up from your workout. So it's natural. You can stay in there longer. It's more comfortable versus you just going in there cold.
I'm actually thinking about adding like peanut butter, like maybe have a couple of scoops. I feel like I can only have so much the protein shake. I can handle 2 scoops.
Yeah, and don't have back-to-back shakes. That's usually bad on the stomach. You know, you'll be gassy. Exactly. Shakes. So the peanut butter, again, check the nutrient labels because peanut butter doesn't have a ton of protein. As a matter of fact, let's look that up in MyFitnessPal. Right, 2 tablespoons is 7 grams. Okay, so that's better than I thought. Oh, but it has 16 grams of fat. So this is where it's important to track, right? If you are getting a lot of fat, you know, you'd have to adjust for all the peanut butter you're now going to add. So it sounds like you like peanut butter, so that's fine. You could have your peanut butter, but because you'll be tracking, you will see how much fat you get. And a general rule of thumb is 20% of your total calories for the day should be fat, or no less than that. So try to keep it around that number, 20-25%. Quick recap: shooting for 1 gram of protein for 1 pound of body weight. General rule of thumb: 20 to 25% of your total calories for fat, and then the carbs can fill in the difference. You go to the gym, you work out, you need energy. Don't try to not eat a bunch of carbs. The worst thing you can do is starve yourself. That's a mistake a lot of people do. They just start cutting calories thinking that's the way to go. That's not the way to go.
I know it's strange, but I find myself eating less after I work out. I just don't feel hungry.
This may be tied again to the lack of sleep, right? Because that's a red flag. Because the sleep messes up so many things, and it's normal for newlywed mothers to have erratic sleep. So that's not abnormal. So it comes back to those the naps, and then what little sleep you're getting now. Try to get higher quality sleep again with the things you said you ordered already. So I think all of these things will help. It could also be potentially overtraining, or ironically not eating enough. You want to pay attention to your appetite in a sense, because either it's the sleep messing it up, or maybe you could be working out too much, especially with a lack of sleep. You know, you're like burning the candle at both ends. You're working out hard, which is good, but you're not getting enough sleep to recover, which is not so good. Okay. But pay attention to all these signals your body's giving you. I would say that. I mean, even if things you hear me say, don't just assume I'm right. I could make a mistake, right? But there are a lot of people out there with shady motivations on the internet. Don't just blindly follow anything. That's probably one of the best pieces of advice I can give to you. Pleasure meeting you. So have a wonderful night. Thank you. Because you are determined to transform your body, you made it to the end of this video. To get more tips about how to look great and feel even better, check out one of these videos you see on the screen. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. So later's my massive. Me I go long now. But those who don't speak Jamaican patois, that's goodbye, my people.